So a couple of weeks ago, my Mercedes developed a problem where when I turn on the car, I couldn't shift out of park. It would just kind of stay stuck right there, and then it wouldn't come out. Sometimes you can get up by jiggling it, and then it would click over. Another way that you can get it out is by having one hand over and smacking it at the top while at the same time pushing down, and then you'd have to smack it really hard, and then that sometimes that would also pop it out. And the reason for that is inside here there is a little lever that will sometimes develop a crack in here. And what this lever does is there's a solenoid that pushes up on here, and that releases the shifter to be able to move. So either the solenoid that pushes up goes bad, or this plastic piece here will sometimes develop a crack. So the solenoid will push up, but due to the brake right here, it won't actually disengage the lock. So once I started having that problem, I disassembled my center console here and just removed this piece while I waited for my replacement kit to come in. So I ordered this replacement kit off of eBay that's made out of aluminum, and it comes with the 3 rivets that are required, along with a circlip and a spring in there. And you can find these all over eBay. You just have to make sure that there's a couple different variations of this lever here, so you have to make sure that it matches with the one that's installed in your car. Pretty much the only way to really know is to disassemble it and see which one you have inside. And with this removed from my car, even while the car is off as it is right now, no key is inserted, I can move through the gears freely. So that's something that you have to keep in mind if you decide to just completely eliminate this plastic lever. But now that I finally got this in the mail 2 weeks later, ordering it from China is very slow. I'll now disassemble this again and reinstall the lever. And actually, inspecting my plastic piece, I don't see any cracks on it anywhere. So I'm almost wondering if it's actually the solenoid that's bad in there. So I'm going to see if I can possibly test that. But either way, I have the new metal one. I'm going to install this. So to take off the gear selector, you want to turn this counterclockwise and lift up. Place that off to the side. Yep. And that's tools to remove this area. Plug this tool. Put it in here. Two filters. Then you'll have to open up your compartment lid right here and just push in this floor area to pop it out and up, and take this section out and close it back up. Then you'll have to move to the back seat and move both of these seats all the way forward, and down right here you'll have to first take off this cap here, simply held in place. Just pop it out with a pry tool, and then that'll expose that screw that lives in there, and that's going to be a torque screw. And you'll have to do that on the left side along with the right side that I've already done. Once you take out this panel, start at the top, and then once you got it pried out that far, you just want to lift up, and it'll expose all these cables that we're going to have to take out. So down here, notice it got hooks, so you want to slide it up, get past the hooks. So you got the prime points up here and here, and then down here, the hooks. And you want to unplug all these cables. Lift it up and move it up. That plug out. This one too. So this plug with the cam top to come out, and this plug with the circular connector, silver connector, so top lid. As you see there, how it's got that lip right here. So that's why you'll have to lift this up to get it down from under there. So next you'll have to unplug the cables going to the gear selector. There's going to be one black one right along this side here, and another white one. So there are two. And your gear selector, or your other switch right here that detects when the gear selector is in park. So once you have those cables disconnected, you'll have 3 screws, one here, and a third one here covered by this little pin. So in order to gain access to that, you have to make sure your gear selector is in reverse, and then you can push that in there and gain access to it with a 5mm hex. And it's not going to come all the way out. It's going to be kind of held in there by that pin. And you can work on the other ones. And once I got those 3 removed, I should be able to move it up. So I still have to put some more on this. There we go. So I was struggling with this piece here catching on the side. So when you have it, be careful of this angle catching on here. So you need to turn it back far enough to be able to slide it out. So once your gear selector out, I'm going to remove these 3 screws here. That is a T20. Go here, here, and here. Make sure not to lose this pin. It can come out. Then you'll want to remove this black piece right here in this hole. There's normally a rivet. I've already drilled mine out, so you'll have to drill that out and then pry along here, 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 and here. Then got one more T20 to remove up here. And then on the other side, you'll have a rivet through this hole here, but again, I've already drilled mine out, so it's already out. So last step is just removing this silver cover here. I'll clip this black piece from here. Here we go. And here you can see this is the shift solenoid, and this white part is what would come up. So here I just want to do a test. I have my shift selector plugged in. I have my transmission and park, and I've got my parking sensor cable over here plugged into. I just want to see if this shift solenoid pops up whenever I put the key into ignition. I'm not going to start the engine. I'm just going to put it into number 2, and then when I press the brakes, turn that off, see that this should pop up, which it kind of does. Kind of hesitant there though. It's a little bit slow. So if I just lightly put my foot on the brake, it doesn't really move until I push pretty hard. So I'm almost wondering if maybe it's delayed. So I'll just lightly press it. That's enough to trigger my light brakes, my brake lights, but it seems like it's not triggering my shift solenoid. Now if I press harder, now it does trigger that. So I wonder if my problems were not because of my plastic piece, but rather because I was not pressing hard enough on my brakes. See, just pay attention to my foot. Right there is enough to trigger the brake lights, but shift solenoid is still not coming up. I press harder and now it comes up. So I wonder if that was my problem instead. So I have to press a pretty good amount on the brakes for it to pop up. So I think I've been able to safely determine that it was not my parking shift lever that was the problem, but rather maybe I just wasn't pressing on the brakes hard enough. Either way, I'm already this far. I'm still going to go ahead and remove this piece and swap in my aftermarket aluminum shift selector lever. So to remove it, normally right here you would have a spring, but I've already removed mine, and then you've got a circlip. Now the goal is to get this spring inside that black plastic holder there, and the other end on that top pin there. Alright, remember to put my cover back on. Stop that go. Selector, select these, goes over the top there. And then this goes over, still cover, goes over shut. And then this one not here, goes inside there. And these go right here. Next, going to be the short T20 screw, not a long one. Then you press on the black plastic piece. Next is the replacement for this. There's another plastic hole for the sheet hole. And there's another side to them right here. So I threw this one up and 8-inch die. And first one done. So what I noticed on this little pin here that attaches to the transmission gear selector rod, it's all dark with leftover residue from the previous bushing. So I'm going to wipe that off because it's preventing probably smooth rotation. So give that a clean. So, in the meantime, I'm going to replace this gear shift bushing with the actual part. This is, again, just one that I had laying around since the original one tore off. And then I gave this area a wipe down, so it's cleaner now. And then I'm just going to lubricate this bushing here with dry lube, safe for plastic and rubber. Okay, let's go again.